So one of the most powerful things in the human experience is stillness, embracing stillness, because this is something that most of us never do, right? We run on these different programmings and these different conditionings, and our lives are super busy and active, and it's one thing after the next, and it's just all over the place, right? And then we try to sit still, maybe for a second, or we try to meditate or something. And when we do this, it just feels like there's so much going on in our minds and so many different conversations that we're revisiting and stuff from the past and worrying about the future and the what ifs and what's going to happen. All of that is mental noise. It's mental chatter and it's distractions. And it's like clouds in the sky, right? Or it's like fog. It prevents us from actually being with what is. So when you sit in stillness, you will notice this. You will notice how active and busy the mind really is and how the mind can never truly be in the present moment. But the more you sit, and this is where at first it's not easy because we're so trained, we're so conditioned to always be going. But at first, when you just sit and you just be and you just relax, and maybe you find some kind of breathwork technique or something, that helps a lot. Or something to ground yourself, some kind of primary object in meditation. The more you sit with that in the stillness, the more the clouds, the distractions will fade out, and you'll start to experience that clarity of your consciousness, that peace that surpasses all understanding. Now, for me, one of the things that I've learned when it comes to stillness is if I want to truly sit with myself in silence and in stillness, why am I doing this? Why do we do this? Well, it's for clarity, and it's for being honest with ourselves so that we can actually see where we're at and what we need to focus on and what we need to work on within ourselves. It's inner work. So that's why it's important, because you can have all of these different things, these different subconscious programmings that are running your life subconsciously, and you're not even aware of it because you've been so busy. You haven't had time to actually sit with what's going on within you. You haven't had time to just be with your feelings and emotions, and you haven't had time to heal or allow your nervous system to recalibrate or all these different things because you've been go. But the stillness and the silence forces you to go within, and it forces you to face whatever it is you have been avoiding or ignoring within yourself. And as difficult as this might be, it's totally worth it. And it is the path, it is the journey to liberation and transcendence in this life, in this human experience. So, but one of the things that has helped me throughout the years is music. Now, with music, I don't use it for deep stillness or silence when I'm in like deep meditation or something. I use it to bring me to that place. So like I said earlier, you can find different methods, different techniques, different primary objects that help you move past the clouds, move past the fog, but eventually, there's got to be a point where you let go of the primary object, you let go of the modality, you let go of the method, you let go of whatever it is you're using to bring you into that deep inner stillness. And so that's what I do with music. Music brings me into the stillness, but once I'm in the stillness, it's pure silence, because you don't need music anymore. You're so captivated by this serene, divine inner stillness, this inner sanctuary that's within your heart. And it's just silence. There's no words, there's no noise, there's no music. It's just pure isness. Okay? And that's what I'm talking about. That is where you experience true transformation, because you can see and you can know directly and clearly what's actually going on within your own consciousness. And you realize in that moment that the stillness that you're experiencing is actually what you are fundamentally. And you can get a glimpse of this between thoughts. So a lot of us are attached to our thoughts, or we identify with certain thoughts. We believe we are our thoughts. But that's not true. Because with your thoughts, all the different thought patterns that are occurring within your mind, what you'll notice is that there's this stillness between the thoughts from which all the thoughts are arising. See? That stillness is awareness. It's who or what you really are. So that's why I say, in this moment of experiencing the deep inner stillness with silence, no words, you taste directly for yourself your true nature. And that's why you're transformed, because from that you simultaneously let go of all these different narratives and egoic identities and roles that you've been attached to, that you've been living according to. And that's when the liberation starts to happen. And from this moment, you'll feel this peace that surpasses all understanding rise from within you. It's like this energy that just starts to rise in your body. And it's very tangible. You can feel it. And it's a beautiful experience. But for so many people, they never experience this. Why? Because they never take the time to just sit and be and rest. And I'm not talking about just like physical rest, because obviously everyone goes to sleep at night, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about rest on the level of the soul. I'm talking about resting the busy, analytical, go, active mind that kicks into gear first thing in the morning. It goes into the beta brainwave state, and it stays in the beta brainwave state for most people late into the night. And that's why they can't fall asleep at night, or they have trouble going to sleep or staying asleep, because the mind is just so active, it's so busy. And by the way, we were not designed for that. We were not designed to live in the beta brainwave state all of the time. It's how people get burnt out. It's how they prevent themselves from experiencing healing and the things they want to experience in their life, different manifestations, different desires coming to pass. It causes a lot of unnecessary suffering, a lot of issues with relationships, all kinds of different things. Because again, it's not what we were designed for. We were designed to be grounded and to live from, like I say all the time, the heart space. We use the busy analytical mind that's in beta or high beta when we need to use it, but we don't live from that place. In fact, the more we live from the high beta brainwave state, or just the beta brainwave state in general, the more programmable we are, because we're not living from awareness. We don't have that high level awareness, so we can't pick up on the different patterns and the paradigms that are occurring in our lives and around us. So we become very programmable, and we get conditioned and controlled, and we're living according to these, like I said earlier, these deep subconscious programmings that have nothing to do with who we really are. And really, we're being controlled by someone else or something else. So that's why this stillness is so important. So important, because it is liberation. It is, in and of itself, liberation. Why? Because you are discovering who you really are and what you really are as pure awareness. And from this, you become empowered. And you change how you see everything. Your perspective starts to shift. And I like that quote from Wayne Dyer when he said something like, when you change the way you look at things, what you look at, or the things that you look at, change. It's all perspective. It's all, as they say in Hermeticism, the first principle, mentalism, all is mind. So, in my experience, Like the most, the biggest, the most genuine transformation that a human being can experience is through this stillness that I'm talking about. Before you can actually change your perception on how you're seeing yourself and others and the world and God and all these different things that are outside of yourself, that appear to be outside of yourself, before that inner shift can happen, you have to taste the stillness. You have to. Direct experience. You've got to slow down. You've got to start to become aware of what's going on within you and focusing on the breath and focusing on how you react, how your ego clings to these different things and all of that. See? All of those things I just mentioned are the clouds that keep us, that prevent us from walking according to the Tao, according to the Wu Wei, the effortless flow of life, which is really what all of our hearts, for the most part, are desiring and really wanting. But we don't know how to experience it because we're so programmed. And we're living according to all these different beliefs and ideas that aren't even ours. Have you noticed that? Like the majority of the things you believe and the majority of the conditionings that you've been living according to were things that were given to you. Again, programmed. You didn't necessarily choose these things. It's just that's part of your programming and your conditioning. And it's really incredible when you step back and you realize that for the first time and you see that and then you say, wow, like I've been living according to all these different things that I don't actually really believe, but they were given to me and I've been controlled for God knows why. What's the reasoning behind you being controlled? Well, there's many different reasons, but we're not going to get into that in this video. I've talked about that in other videos, the different things that are happening and the different scare tactics, and just a lot of it has to do with religion, but there's other aspects of life that absolutely, other areas of life that have been trying to control us through different ways. But anyway, yeah, the stillness clears all of that up. It brings this higher awareness to you, this expansion of consciousness, and once you see, you can't unsee. But the question is, can you embrace it? Can you face the... And here's the interesting thing, whatever programming that we undergo, what you'll notice about it and how it's wired your mind is that it's created this strong avoidance towards stillness or silence, which is interesting, right? Like the one thing that's going to actually lead to our liberation and transcendence in this human experience, the stillness, is like the main thing that we just want nothing of when we're living according to the beta brainwave state or according to different conditionings like I mentioned. So I find that interesting. We get so trained to live a certain way according to the mind and to live primarily in the mind instead of from the heart. And then we want nothing to do with the stillness. Well, the stillness is where we are empowered, and once we're empowered, once we know who we really are, we can't be controlled. We can't be conditioned by these things. Because why? Because now we have awareness. We can see through the fog. We have pattern recognition. We know what's going on. We have higher awareness, intuition. All of those things start to arise naturally when you sit in silence. Trust the silence. You will know more about yourself, about reality, about whatever this 3D earth realm is, this construct. You will know more about that from stillness than any book, than from any teacher, than from any kind of outside external source. So, don't take my word for it. If you feel led to practice this, to embrace the stillness, to start having these periods of just pure silence, I would encourage you to follow that. I would encourage you to trust that intuitive nudge or that guidance that you may be feeling right now, to embrace the stillness, to sit in silence and to just be and see what happens. Once all the clouds and the fog and all of that, once all of that clears out, you're going to be amazed what you remember, what you start to feel, and what you start to know. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.